One that says, me watching her scream after I poured boiling water on her after she told a boy happy birthday because why you happy he made it another year. Just weird stuff. That's super weird to repost, especially under this context.
When police opened up that Tesla trunk on September 8th, 2025, they knew this wasn't your average case, but what they discovered next sent shockwaves across the internet. All eyes turned to rising artist D4d, real name David Anthony Burke, a 20-year-old who blew up off viral TikTok tracks like Romantic Homicide and Here With Me. But instead of just chasing clout, his own TikTok activity started looking like a digital trail that investigators say hinted at something far darker. This wasn't some routine celebrity scandal. This was a whole new level of disturbing behavior that had people questioning everything. Investigators began combing through his social media, and what they uncovered looked more like a twisted diary than innocent posts. Clips and reposts that fans once brushed off as dark humor suddenly felt like red flags in plain sight. To the world, it looked like just another edgy internet personality doing too much for attention. But now people are saying it reads like a step-by-step playbook hiding in the open. The first thing that had detectives raising eyebrows was a repost of someone chopping up raw chicken with the caption, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes." At the time, most viewers just scrolled past it, thinking it was another wild meme. But with everything that's come out since, that post is being looked at in a whole new light. I've covered a lot of wild cases, but this has me rethinking how dangerous some of these so-called jokes on social media can really be, because what they found on his TikTok wasn't just edgy content. It was the mindset of someone spiraling out of control, broadcasted for the world to see. Toxic doesn't even begin to describe this situation. Once investigators pieced everything together, those old TikTok posts started hitting way different. What looked like simple jealousy suddenly came across as a chilling blueprint hiding in plain sight. And just when you think it couldn't get any crazier, it did. D4vd even reposted that infamous American Psycho nail gun scene with the caption, "Me after hearing about her past with other boys. I'm jealous and utterly disgusted by her actions." Imagine scrolling past that back then. People thought it was just another edgy joke, but now investigators say it mirrors the same twisted emotions he carried into his real relationship. And it didn't stop there. His timeline was filled with reposts about violent relationships, mental health struggles, and even mock funerals. Fans were double tapping like it was just dark humor, not realizing this was painting a disturbing picture of his mindset. Online discussions later described these posts as glorifying violence, and that's exactly how they come across now, a fantasy being acted out long before reality caught up. But the most unsettling detail, his TikTok profile picture at the time, a bloody blindfolded Hello Kitty. At first glance, it looked like just an edgy aesthetic. But here's the eerie twist. Celeste was last seen wearing Hello Kitty sandals and carrying a Hello Kitty keychain. People close to her said she loved that character. Suddenly, that profile pic didn't look random at all. It felt like a twisted reference straight to his victim. It gets even darker when you realize he had posted a video on February 7th, 2024 captioned, "When your card declines at therapy and they bring in that one Hello Kitty girl you met in 2021, looking back it feels less like a joke and more like a breadcrumb in a dangerous pattern." That wasn't just some random meme. That was him hinting at meeting Celeste online years earlier, hiding the truth right in front of everyone, like it was some twisted game. But the post that really had investigators on edge was a cryptic "I miss her" message he shared alongside violent memes. Authorities believe this could have been him referring to Celeste after she went missing. And instead of stepping up to help or raising concern, he was out here posting about missing her while allegedly knowing the truth the whole time. That type of behavior had investigators calling it cold, calculated, and heartless. It wasn't just edgy internet clout chasing. It looked like someone showing off their mindset while a real investigation was unfolding. What's really wild is how D4vd managed to build a whole career off the very same emotions investigators say were fueling his darkest behavior. His breakout track Romantic Homicide racked up billions of streams, and fans thought it was just heartbreak music. But now, authorities are saying the song might have been more than that. Maybe even a hidden confession disguised as art. Imagine that, profiting off a track that could have been describing real-life intentions. Investigators later revealed that many of his TikTok reposts were dated before the case even broke, described as older content. That meant this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment situation. It looked like a disturbing pattern of him playing out violent fantasies online long before anything happened, almost like he was documenting his mindset step by step for anyone to see. Communities online even started comparing his behavior to infamous criminals from the past, saying the obsession wasn't just about the acts themselves, but about the mind games, the clues, the hints, the way he hid in plain sight while cultivating an image as a sensitive indie star. And honestly, when you piece it together, it does look calculated. Every caption, every repost, every piece of content seemed carefully chosen, almost like breadcrumbs leading toward a bigger story. This case shook law enforcement to the core. Suddenly, social media wasn't just background noise in a case. It became the roadmap. His online activity wasn't about clout chasing or being edgy for followers. It looked like an open record of his mindset, his frustrations, and his planning process, all wrapped up in content fans thought was harmless. Every post told a piece of the story. And looking back, it reads less like random entertainment and more like a confession hiding in plain sight. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was just 15 when tragedy struck, but evidence shows her connection to D4vd began years earlier, long before anyone realized. Authorities now describe it as a disturbing pattern of manipulation that played out across multiple platforms, creating a timeline that showed how his unhealthy obsession spiraled into something deadly. Celeste's family described her as a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. A bright young girl who adored Hello Kitty and had her whole future ahead of her. She was remembered as funny, full of energy, and deeply loved by those around her. But none of those details can fully capture the heartbreak of how she ended up caught in the web of someone abusing their power. Reports suggest D4vd and Celeste may have first connected online as early as 2021. While he was busy building his reputation as a rising indie artist, investigators say he was also maintaining contact with her in a way that raised serious red flags. Looking back, it paints the picture of someone carefully crafting a public image in music while secretly engaging in behavior that would later horrify the world. When law enforcement pieced together his posts, messages, and music, the story was no longer just about a rising artist with edgy content. It became about a young victim whose life was stolen and a pattern of exploitation hiding in plain sight. And that, more than anything, is what makes this case one of the most disturbing stories of recent years. Celeste's disappearance in April 2024 was first reported by her family to the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. But sadly, it wasn't treated with the urgency it deserved. Because she had a history of running away before, authorities initially assumed it was just another repeat incident. Investigators now believe those earlier runaways may have been connected to her hidden situation with D4d, and that misunderstanding cost them crucial time that could have changed everything. What makes this even more heartbreaking is what came out later. Evidence suggesting Celeste had been involved in a secret relationship with someone named David. Her own mother revealed that she had been dealing with this individual, and even one of her former teachers recalled that Celeste first met him through social media. Looking back, it's devastating to realize that her family and community saw warning signs but couldn't stop what was unfolding. And this case shines a harsh light on how difficult it can be to protect young people in today's digital age, where secret relationships can grow in plain sight and red flags don't always get recognized until it's too late. Connecting D4vd to Celeste wasn't hard for investigators. The proof was right there. Both had matching shush tattoos on their index fingers, with Celeste's done in red ink. To authorities, this wasn't some coincidence. It looked like a disturbing symbol of control. Her family later confirmed the tattoo detail, something police had never shared publicly. But the digital trail was even more damaging. Screenshots from D4vd's Discord server in 2022 showed conversations with Celeste that investigators say went far beyond normal fan interactions. Reports described it as a long pattern of manipulation, slowly building trust while isolating her from those who could have protected her. If that wasn't enough, they also uncovered an unreleased track titled Celeste Demo Woonin from late 2023. The lyrics referenced her directly, with obsessive undertones investigators now see as a chilling clue to his state of mind. And finally, the most damning piece. On September 8, 2025, a Tesla registered to D4vd was impounded in Hollywood. When police checked it, they made the tragic discovery that officially tied him to Celeste's disappearance and confirmed investigators' worst fears. Investigators believe Celeste's death happened months before the discovery, lining up with the start of D4vd's tour. While he was keeping up his image on stage and online, evidence suggests he already knew the dark truth hiding in that Tesla. The car itself was found abandoned in the Hollywood Hills, just blocks from where he had been staying, a detail investigators say was no accident. The proximity made it easier for him to watch the situation while pretending to be uninvolved. Detectives now believe this wasn't random at all. It looked calculated, with his social media posts revealing a disturbing obsession long before tragedy struck. Photos and live streams from late 2023 appeared to show D4vd out in public with a girl resembling Celeste, suggesting their connection wasn't just online. These sightings, paired with private messages later uncovered, painted a troubling picture of a relationship investigators say crossed serious boundaries. Even before police went public, online users were already speculating about a missing teen being linked to D4vd, raising questions about how much his inner circle knew and why nobody spoke up sooner. Meanwhile, he kept performing on tour, maintaining his public persona as if nothing was wrong. For many, it revealed a chilling ability to hide behind fame while living a double life. What makes this case so tragic is how many red flags got ignored. Celeste's own brother reportedly warned police about her connection to D4d, but it was brushed off. That failure, combined with D4vd's carefully crafted public image, allowed a preventable tragedy to unfold. The real breakthrough came when investigators dug deep into his social media. Those TikTok reposts and captions weren't just edgy jokes. They were a chilling roadmap of his mindset. For law enforcement, it became a turning point, proof that digital evidence could expose a hidden reality behind the fame. On September 18, 2025, police raided a Hollywood Hills home tied to him, marking the moment the case officially turned. The Tesla itself turned into one of the biggest pieces of evidence, and investigators say D4d never saw it coming. Modern Teslas track everything: location data, usage logs, even camera footage. That digital footprint gave police a clear trail connecting him back to the crime. Meanwhile, his own social media posts lined up in ways that felt impossible to ignore. What once looked like random dark memes suddenly read like confessions in disguise. Posts about jealousy, obsession, and anger that eerily matched the case. Even his Hello Kitty themed profile picture took on new meaning. What fans thought was just an edgy aesthetic, investigators now believe symbolized his twisted connection to Celeste. That February 7th, 2024 TikTok about that one Hello Kitty girl you met in 2021 wasn't just a random joke. Investigators now say it was a direct reference to Celeste, hidden in plain sight. What's even more disturbing is how much manipulation surrounded him. Reports suggest D4vd even used his online circle to keep people quiet, creating a shield that helped him maintain his image while avoiding attention. To investigators, this showed planning and deception on a whole other level. Not a reckless act, but a carefully hidden double life. The fallout for D4vd has been massive. His label froze promotions, major companies cut ties, and sponsors like Crocs and Hollister pulled their campaigns. He even canceled his entire US and world tour, a complete collapse of his career in real time. Fans also noticed something chilling. His final Instagram post came on September 7th, the same day as Celeste's birthday, just one day before her body was found. That timing left many convinced it wasn't random. Across social media, outrage has exploded, with fans saying they'll never hear his music the same way again. What makes this case so significant is how it's changing the way law enforcement looks at crime in the digital age. Traditionally, investigators relied on physical evidence and witness statements. But with D4vd, it was his own social media that turned into a real-time confession, a disturbing record of his mindset left for the world to see. The evidence piling up, from matching tattoos to private messages and unreleased songs, has painted a picture investigators say is impossible to ignore. As of now, D4vd hasn't been formally charged, but the case remains active, with authorities calling the digital trail one of the most revealing they've ever seen. The tragic irony of this case is that D4vd's rise to fame came from connecting with young fans online, the same platforms investigators say expose his darkest secrets. What once looked like music about heartbreak, like Romantic Homicide, now feels more like a confession in disguise. For Celeste's family, the pain is permanent. Their loss is a reminder that behind every viral post and streaming number are real human lives at stake. This case has already changed how investigators treat digital evidence, and it's forcing society to rethink how dangerous behavior online gets overlooked. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.